Now I want to turn to Dan Pfeiffer, former senior advisor to President Obama and now co-host of a little thing called Pod Save America. Dan, it's always, I need all the help to understand what's happening here, my friend, and I want to get right to this kind of bigger changed strategy the Democrats have pursued through the year, right? Like I wanted everybody to we needed to collectively remind ourselves of what was happening in June and the ways in which we thought this election would be litigated and how that changed after Dobbs. And now we sort of seem to be in a sort of gray space between Dobbs and between the, June 7th recall of Chesa Boudin. What do you make of the Democratic strategy thus far, and what has to happen in the closing 2 weeks here?
Sure. If you go back to earlier this year, what Democrats have always wanted this election to be about is a referendum on Republican extremism. That's why it was so important. They focused on Dobbs, on Republicans taking away personal freedoms, attacking marriage equality, bullying gay and trans kids, book bans, all of that. And here we are now in this last phase. Economic pessimism has picked up in recent weeks. Gas prices had gone down all summer, went up in September. They're going down now, but people still tell pollsters they think they're paying more for gas. So what Democrats have to do, and you're seeing this in a lot of races, and you've seen President Biden do this recently, is connect the very resonant argument that Republicans are extremists and apply it to economic issues is a way to disqualify them as people who will fight for them and deal with inflation. So that's why they will cut Social Security and Medicare, cut taxes for large corporations and the wealthy. And so that's the pivot here. We are building on the extremist argument. That's what a good campaign would do. We're not making a last minute panic pivot.
Well, I guess I wonder, though, if you think the administration, Democratic candidates, Democrats writ large, have they touted their achievements enough, given that Republicans are going hard on this message about, how to help working class Americans, and the Biden administration and Democrats in Congress have a really pretty compelling argument to make about the concrete steps they've taken to help people who are working class Americans?
I think in this environment, it would be a historic mistake to simply tout your achievements, to say, yes, you were feeling economic pain. Yes, your costs have gone up. Look at this bill we passed almost 2 years ago that sent you checks that you spent already. Here's this bill we passed that is going to reduce inflation, but much of it's going in later this year and the year's future. That is out of touch. The right way to talk about our accomplishments is proof of what we're going to do in the future. Good campaigns don't look backwards, they look forward. So, and you saw President Biden do this in his remarks at the White House on Friday, is to say, we took on the pharmaceutical companies. We took on the big oil companies. We are raising taxes on corporations in order to help lower costs. That's why you can trust us to fight for you to deal with higher costs. You can't trust the people who want to give tax cuts to big oil to deal with high gas prices. You can't trust the people who want to give tax cuts to Wall Street banks to fight for you in a world of greedy corporations. So it's proof of what you're going to do going forward, not asking for a pat on the back for what you did. I think that is the pivot here. I think the president's laid that out in a couple of speeches, and I hope a lot of Democrats will follow that.
I want to ask you, though, about crime, because that seems to be, of all the issues, it's the one that the glittery object that Republicans are most intent on making the centerpiece of their closing argument here. We heard it a number of times in key Senate debates this evening. And yet, if you look at the statistics, and I don't know why this isn't on a mug somewhere as a fundraising tool, the top 5 states with the highest homicide mortality rates are all red states: Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas. How are Democrats playing defense on this? How is this not a stat that is mentioned every single time Republicans want to talk about crime?
I mean, well, this has been the Republicans. This is their break glass issue in every election. It goes back to the Willie Horton ad in 1988. They did it against Barack Obama. Trump tried it in 2020. Of course, they're doing here. And as you said in your opening, it's crime is the topic, but it's a proxy for race. There's a lot of racially coded language here. A lot of it's pretty explicitly racist. And so the way Democrats should handle this, and some campaigns like the Fetterman campaign have done this very well, is to take it on, to state what you are for. That you have fought crime in your previous job. You will fund responsible, accountable policing. And then what you do is you pivot, because the trap in all of these things is something President Obama used to say is you don't play their game, you call out their game. So now talk about why they are trying to use crime to scare you, to distract from their extremist agenda, the ones to infringe on your personal freedoms, cut your Medicare, cut taxes for corporations. And so you have to take it on state what you were for. Do not let them incorrectly and inaccurately frame Democrats as being soft on crime. Call them out. And in some states, as you point out, you can do that very aggressively against the Republicans who have overseen steep increases in crime over the last couple of years.
I mean, or just put it on a mug, carry it around with you on the campaign trail.
Right.
Dan, what do you make of the numbers in terms of voters of color, who are key parts of the Democratic coalition, specifically black voters, Hispanic voters? We have news polling basically that Democratic leads with Hispanic voters are smaller than they were in 2018, and there's less enthusiasm among black voters, specifically black male voters, leading into this year's midterms. Do you see that as cause for concern? I feel like there's two schools of thought here. One is, yes, it's cause for concern, and the other is Democrats are always freaking out about this before every election, and it never comes to pass. Where do you stand on it?
My philosophy since the 2016 election is worry about everything, panic about nothing. So I'm going to file this under that category of worry about it. And we have to take it very seriously. We have seen in 2020 that Democrats did worse with this core group of voters who've been part of our coalition for a long time we had in previous years. And so we have to watch very carefully. And so what I think we have to think about is, or focus on, is not why are these voters not supporting us, is how do we go out and get their support? How do we organize in their community? How do we talk to them about why voting for Democrats matter? Why us? Why not Republicans? And aggressively make the case. We have to persuade them, because I think for too long, too many Democrats have considered black voters, Latino voters, young voters to be a GOTV, or get out the vote universe. If we just tell them that an election's happening, a Democrat's on ballot, they vote. We need to persuade them. Like pollsters, like pundits always talk about swing voters. We have to go out and make a case to them. There are some campaigns who are doing that very well here. We'll have to see what the actual numbers are in this election, because as Steve pointed out in the previous section, we don't know if these polls are right or not. So let's just go make the case. Let's persuade them. Let's turn them out, and let's see what happens on November 8th.
We have 2 weeks to go, Dan. Is that long enough to persuade anybody at this stage?
Absolutely. I mean, especially now where people can vote right in the moment in which you talk to them in a lot of states because of early voting. Like, the clock is ticking for sure. I would rather be up in these possibly incorrect polls than down in these possibly incorrect polls in all these states. I'd rather us be leading in all the races, but there is still time in these races for all of panic in the streets, all the chest thumping from Republicans, is these races are ending up where they were always going to end up. They are taking places in states that Joe Biden, in many cases, won by less than a point in 2020. They were going to be coin flips. They were going to be, whether the poll said that John Fetterman was up by 10 or now he's up by 1.3, they were always going to be incredibly close. That's where we are. And now all that's left to do is ignore the polls and just go get the work done over the next couple of weeks and see what we can do.